Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you the latest installment of books I've unhauled lately. So I have managed to do another one of these videos very soon. It is currently, I think, the 23rd of July that I'm filming this, and this list of unhaul books started on the 17th of May. So I have unhauled so much in the past 2 months that I already have enough to bring you a video. I say enough, the only way I judge it is if it fills a page in my notebook, and it currently has. So here we go. There's a real mix in this video for reasons why I might have unhauled them. I won't natter on for too much at the start of this video. If I hold a book up physically, that means it is still in my possession and it is more than likely on my Vinted. So my Vinted will be linked down in the description if you want to go check it out. If you want to get your hands on these books, that is where you can find them. There are quite a few that I've already unhauled to different places, so I will show them on the screen and yeah, I'll tell you where they've gone. So first up we have Unclaimed Baggage by Jen Doll. This one has been on my TBR a very long time and I DNF'd it back in May. I only read about 50 pages I think, and I just could not get into the swing of this book, so that one is not for me. A book that I did quite like is Life Unaware by Cole Gibson. I think I gave this 3.5 stars. I liked it, it just wasn't something that I need to keep forever. But yeah, it was a decent book and it's a YA contemporary talking about like popularity and mean girls at school. Then a book I actually really liked is Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari Lapina. I read this on the plane over to see my fiance in May, and I actually left it with his stepmom because I really enjoyed it. I thought she would like it too, and she picked it up pretty instantly and was just so desperate to keep reading it at all times. So a success on haul because I enjoyed it, she enjoyed it, and I have since bought it for my mom for her birthday, so I'm forcing everyone to read this book. We then have The Visa by Lizzie O'Hagan. This is an adult romance I also read out in America and I wasn't as impressed with it. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was a completely fine book, but nothing that made me want to bring it home and hold on to it, so I unhauled. One I didn't love is Things We Say in the Dark by Kirsty Logan. This was an adult horror told in like short stories and I didn't understand it at all. That's definitely my intelligence and reading comprehension problem, not a book problem, but it made me feel dumb, so it's unhauled. Another one I really liked is Dear John by Nicholas Sparks, and I had this teeny tiny beat up mass market paperback with orange pages. They weren't even yellow. So I read this book, I really enjoyed it, and I passed it on in a little free library so that someone else could have it. I did not need to keep this on my shelves. Then we have a couple I haven't read, which is awful. We have Spellbound by Georgia Layton, and this was an ARC that I got at Yelp, and I'm pretty sure I got it in like the goodie bag, and I just wasn't interested in it. I actually, at the time of considering it, hadn't realised the book had already come out. I was just so like not bothered, so I passed that on to a better home. Then I have The Grown Up To-Do List by Jennifer Joyce. This is one that I bought from the works for like £2 and I was like, oh, but maybe I'll enjoy it. I don't know why I do this. I've now stopped making those decisions, and this one was passed on because I just wasn't excited by it. Then we have The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, and this is one that I bought for multiple people for Christmas because I was like, oh, I think that they would really like it, but I don't like the sound of it, so why did I buy it for myself? I bought it being like, well, I can read it too and we can all talk about it, but I'm not interested in it. So yeah, this is being unhauled. Then we have Dangerous Girls by, I want to say Danielle Valente or something like that. I've really forgotten, but this one has actually been passed on to a friend too. It's another ARC that I got at Yelp. I won it and I just was like really happy to have it, but it doesn't sound like my cup of tea. It doesn't sound like something I'm so excited to read and can't like put down, so I just passed it on to somebody who I thought it would suit them better. We then have Looking for Fireworks by Holly Cavendish, which is a book I literally got from Poundland like 4 years ago. Had always put it on TBRs and I'd never picked it up. It's just an adult romance, a contemporary romance. It's probably really sweet and lovely, but I didn't need it. Okay, next up we have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and I had the Penguin cloth-bound classics edition. I wanted to keep it forever because it's beautiful. I wanted to have a little collection of classics, and then I remembered that I don't like classics, so why am I doing this? I don't need this. So this one has been moved on. Then we have another book I really enjoyed, which is Final Girls by Riley Sager. This is a thriller, and the reason I got rid of this is even though I really enjoyed it, it had been about 5 years since I'd read it, and I still remembered the twist. So I knew I was never going to reread it because it's not going to thrill me and shock me as it did the first time. Instead, I've passed that book on to a good friend, and I'm sure that she will enjoy the shocking moment. I think we now actually do have a list of books I really enjoyed, and just getting rid of them for different reasons. We have To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is the first in that series. I had already unhauled books 2 and 3 because I didn't love them as much as the first book. The first book I did really enjoy. I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars. However, I had no pull to reread it, and I've actually rewatched the movie about 8 times since I've read that book, so I did not need to read it again. I've read it once and I have the movie to enjoy if I want to continue doing so. Then we have Night Road by Kristen Hanna, which again I enjoyed. And I was keeping this one for like a fictional future scenario. It's about a mother-daughter relationship, and I was like, oh well, if I have a daughter in the future, I can reread this and I can feel differently. I can look it up if I need to. In that hypothetical situation, I can look up this book, but I did not need to keep it for now. We then have My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, which I really enjoyed. However, I have no inkling to read this again. This is a very fun adult romance, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, there's nothing about this that I need to hold on to and cherish and read again forever and forever. It's just not necessary. It's not a bad book. Some people really don't like this one. It's not bad at all. It's just not like definitely rereadable to me. I'd probably enjoy it if I read it again, but I don't need to. Then we have The Locked Door by Frida McFadden, which I really enjoyed. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe more. I've passed this one on to my mom. She enjoys reading Frida McFadden, and now my sister's really got into her too. So I've just passed it on to the family where they can enjoy it, and I don't need to keep it. I have a lot of Fridas. I don't think anything's gonna top Never Lie for me. That was my favorite, and I do enjoy the original Housemaid, but I don't need to hold on to the books that I'm like, okay, maybe I could reread this. It's fine going. I did not really enjoy Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. I listened to the audiobook for this. I don't even know what month we were in now, maybe June. And yeah, this one didn't do anything for me. It's a YA mystery, and I wasn't interested in the mystery. I didn't really care about the YA contemporary side of it either. It can go. Then we have Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, and I did really enjoy this book. It is a golf romance. It's an adult romance. It's a little steamy, and I just was like, yeah, I don't need to keep this. I don't think I was going to reread it, and my colleague has got really into golf in the past couple months, and she's a big reader, and I was like, here is a golf romance, please enjoy. So that one is definitely in a better home. We then have My Husband's Wife by Jane Corrie, which I read maybe last month, and I did really enjoy it. This is a very literary mystery following a woman who is a defense lawyer and the young girl who lives next door with her single mom. I did really enjoy my time reading this. It was a little slower, it was a little bit more thoughtful, and I just knew that I was never going to read it again. So I have passed that on to a good friend because I think it's really her vibe. I think she'll enjoy it. But yeah, I didn't need to personally read it again. Then we have a couple of books that I just knew I didn't need to keep on my shelf. I actually got chatting to one of my old boss's daughter, and she is, I think, 16 now, and she's really got into reading. So I was like, here are some fun YA books that I think you'll enjoy. I think I also gave her To All the Boys I Loved Before, but then I also gave her The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, which is a very easy YA contemporary. It's a Wattpad book that was published, and it's not good. So I was like, I'm not going to read this again. There is better stuff out there. It's not the most exciting book ever, but I think she'll enjoy it. I also gave her Are You Watching by Vincent Ralph, which is a YA thriller that I read way back when it was an ARC. I wasn't going to read it again, so I hope she enjoys. Then The How and the Why by Cynthia Hand, which is a YA contemporary focusing on adoption, and it's a very emotional, hard-hitting contemporary. So I tried to hit all my bases with the books I gave her. We then have The House by Christina Lauren. I was tempted to keep this, but just because I've never read anything like it, which is a strange reason to keep a book, but this is like a haunted house YA horror, but not quite. It's like a sentient house situation, and I've never read one of those before, but this was fun. I'm never going to read it again. We then have The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I got The Switch way back when it came out. I was obsessed with the Flatshare, which I still have on my shelves. But The Switch, I read it, I think I gave it 5 stars, but looking back, I had no pull to read it again, so just decided it was a good time to get it off my shelf. One I had a duplicate copy of was Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I wanted to keep both editions because they're both absolutely stunning, but I decided to keep the Fairy Loot special edition and pass on my other copy. I am so grateful that they both turned up in my life, but looking at condensing the size of my collection, I couldn't keep both. We then have A Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi, and I'd been keeping this on my shelves. I read it years ago. I read it, have I got a date in here? No, I read it a long time ago, and I was keeping this on my shelves, and every time I looked at it, I was like, why do I still own that? So I decided it's time to unhaul it. I think I really liked it. I think I gave it 4.5 or maybe even 5 stars, but I remember nothing about it. So for that reason, it can't have been that great, which sounds so harsh. We then have a couple more Tessa Baileys. I think both of these I gave 4.5 stars, but I just have no pull to read them again. We have Hook, Line and Sinker, and also Secretly Yours. I'm keeping It Happened One Summer, which is the first book in this series, but this one I didn't love as much as It Happened One Summer, and this one I enjoyed, but I just don't have a pull to read it again. I think there's a lot more romances that I would read more than once, and this doesn't quite tick all my boxes. So yeah, I enjoyed both these books, but I don't need to keep them. Next up we have a DNF, which is You Are Not Alone by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I read about 50 pages and I was extremely bored, so I decided to give up and pass it back into the world. Alternatively, my favourite book of June was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I did have a physical copy of this, but I ended up listening to the audiobook and I really enjoyed it. It was my favourite book of the month. However, I just don't see myself rereading it, and if I did, I would go back to the audiobook. I don't think I would physically pick this book up, so although I enjoyed it, it doesn't need to be a part of my forever collection. We then have The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi, and apologies if I've completely butchered that again. I didn't enjoy this book. I think I gave it 2 stars. I was not a fan. I don't need to keep it on my shelves. I hope that it finds the niche audience that enjoy it, but unfortunately this book didn't do it for me. A book I did enjoy, again, is If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegmund Broker. I thought this was fun. It was very cute. It was very like YA drama with a bit of romance thrown in. I'm actually thinking, looking back, I might pass this on to my old boss's daughter as well because I think she'd enjoy it. But it was fun, it was easy. I just don't need to read it again. I'm also way past the target audience for this now. So I think that once enjoying the teen drama is great, but I don't need to go back a second time. I didn't enjoy Lock the Doors by Vincent Ralph. This is the second Vincent Ralph book I'm unhauling in this video, and the first one I really enjoyed, this one I really didn't. I think I gave it 1.5 stars. I don't think it was very well done. I don't think the story was good, so I'm just gonna stop there and it can go. I should have organised these in like a did like, didn't like, rather than the order I unhauled them, because we're now up to Say Anything by Sarah Dessen, which I have this completely destroyed copy of, so you can't actually see anything. But this is another YA contemporary that I really enjoyed. I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was really fun, while being emotional and being romantic at the same time. But am I going to keep this on my shelf forever? No. I also read Filthy Rich Vampire by Geneva Lee. I think I gave this 3 stars in the end. I have unfortunately beat up my copy a little bit, which is very unlike me. I've even cracked the spine. How dare I? This is basically Bridgerton with vampires, is the only way to explain it. I read this book, I did enjoy it, I had a fun time with it, but am I going to read it again? No. There is a whole series behind this book and I've decided to go for the ebooks rather than to physically buy them. So yes, not something I need to keep on my shelf forever. Another Karen M. McManus, we have The Cousins. I listened to this on audiobook and I did like the story more than Nothing More to Tell, but it was another one that didn't really thrill me. It didn't excite me. I'm not like thinking back to this book thinking I've got to read it again. So it can go. So close to the end now. We have Last Ones Left Alive by Sarah Davis Goff. I didn't dislike this book by any means, but also I don't have many like amazingly positive things to say. This is horror with like a zombie based thing. They're kind of zombies, they're kind of not. They're basically zombies. It was a very short, fun time. It was an interesting narrative style. Do I need to read it again? no. And last but by no means least, we have The Life We Almost Had by Amelia Henley. I don't know how I struggled to say that. This is a very emotional adult, like, contemporary romance. I had a really good time with it. I enjoyed it. I read it in pretty much one sitting. However, it's just not one that I'm going to go back to. So even though I think I gave this 4.5 stars, I'm not going to read it again, so it can see itself out of my collection. So there we have it. Those are all of the books in a quick fire round that I have unhauled lately. As I said, if I physically held up the book, that means it is more than likely on my Vinted, which will be linked down in the description. If you don't have Vinted, drop me a message. I'll see what I can do. Please do let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my opinions on these books, or if anything I've said here is making you pull out your hair in frustration, then please do tell me. I'd love to chat to you about them. On that note though, that's all I have time for, so thank you very, very much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!